Hey guys, Joe here at JP Details, and today I want to discuss with you the costs associated with not only the ultimate show car detail and preservation of every single surface on a vehicle, but also a detail that would be given to get a vehicle to a true concours standard. Bear in mind that there are many variables to the pricing structure given to vehicles with a detail of this magnitude, but I will break this video up into each of the major areas. Depending on the age, current condition, size and style of the vehicle in question is going to alter the time duration that each of the major stages take. The most prestigious of concours events in the UK are called Concours of Elegance or Concours d'Elegance, and these are usually held at palaces with links to the Queen. You will find some of the rarest cars at these events, including the earliest pioneering models to modern day supercars. If there is one thing that you can guarantee when visiting one of these events is that you will find a good variety of highly sought after and incredibly rare vehicles. Let's take a quick look at last year's winners and associated categories of the 2019 Concours of Elegance. The best in show was a 1919 Rolls-Royce Silver Ghost. The pre-1920s winner was a 1904 Napier L49. The 1920s category winner was a 1929 Bentley Speed 6 Old No. 1. The 1930s category went to a 1930 out Stout Scarab. The 1940s winner was a 1949 Ferrari 166mm. A 1951 Pegaso Z102 scooped the 1950s spot, and the 1965 Ford GT40 won the 60s trophy. The post-1970s winner was a McLaren F1, and the club trophy went to a Vauxhall 30-98. The Bridge of Weir Jaguar trophy went to a C-Type, and the Future Classic trophy went to an Aston Martin Vulcan. There were no official judges at this event, as each owner that entered a vehicle was given one vote for each category where they voted on their favourite car, but it couldn't be their own. That does make me think that perhaps not all of the voters took their scan grip handhelds with them that day, and they more than likely would have voted for their favourite model of car. I'm sure a rust patch, some graffiti or a key mark would have put people off alongside noticeable swirl marks, but as long as the cars were shiny, I'm pretty sure the votes would have been placed on the type of car and not quite whether it had received a million hours of love and attention with a Rupes Bigfoot. Of course, the cars will need to be prepared to a high standard, but how high I don't actually know. For the rest of us that can't afford a Ford GT40, a McLaren F1, a Ferrari Enzo, a Lamborghini Aventador, a Porsche 918, a Ferrari 812 Superfast, a Bugatti Veyron, a Bugatti Chiron, a Nissan Micra, or perhaps even a Pagani Zonda, then this is where a show like Waxstock certainly stands out. That doesn't mean to say that by having your vehicle prepared to the highest of standard for a true concours event is wasted. In fact, it's far from it, as I'm sure the standards are very high. I just don't get the gist that swirl marks are the main priority. A nut and bolt restoration? Absolutely yes. A brand new looking 70-year-old supercar classic with 2.25 miles on the clock? Absolutely yes. But no orange peel, zero swirl marks, no traces of road tar deposits, or not even a single blemish in any area of paintwork, I'm not too sure about. What I personally need to do is to get myself down to some of these concours events and check out the standard of the cars in real life to give me a proper understanding. I'm sure the key thing to remember will be the fact that many of these cars are very old and they are still in an overall impeccable condition, which has to be respected. Besides from a full nut and bolt restoration, the concours detail would finish the car off, and without a shadow of a doubt it would make it stand out against the rest, which is what you will need to do to swing a few votes. Let's forget about the complete nut and bolt restoration, as that's what I'm not about. Although if you do happen to own a classic Ferrari, then I did actually do a few weeks work for a classic Ferrari restorer who does these nut and bolt restorations. When I worked for him at the grand old age of 16, his warehouse was full of Ferrari Dinos, various engines and tons of Ferrari memorabilia. He keeps his business very hush-hush for obvious reasons. In terms of a concours level detail or even the ultimate show car detail, this would consist of 4 key areas: the underside of the car, the interior of the car, the exterior of the car and the engine bay. Within those 4 areas there are multiple stages and individual areas, all of which when done to the highest standard does take up a very long time and a considerable amount of different products. For each of those 4 key areas requires various bits of trim and parts and pieces to be removed from the car to allow 100% of the vehicle to be reached for treatment. I won't be able to tell you within this video what each of those major stages involve, as it would turn this video into a seriously long-winded detailing marathon. One of the main reasons behind buying the Focus in the first place was in fact to create a multi-part detailing series to show you what the pinnacle of detailing is all about. I've made at least 10 videos now on the RS covering all of these 4 key areas to show you what a concourse level detail should involve. The video that I've created today is basically going to summarise each stage of which the Focus received, which will leave only one area within the detailing industry left out, which is paint protection film, as I don't currently offer a PPF service. On a second glance at those 4 key areas of being exterior, interior, engine bay and the underside, we then have those various stages to accompany the detailing process. Like I mentioned before, I have done videos covering each of these forthcoming listed stages in massive detail, while showing the stages in action in my own Focus RS to the fullest degree. I'm not going to read out every last stage for you, but if you do want to hit pause now, then it will give you the chance to take them all in. These prices are based on my current hourly rate, and you will have to bear in mind that these prices and time durations have been well thought through, with the key thing to remember is that a concourse level detail is a lot more time consuming than the average detail. On the average detail, for example, if the wheels do come off, then the arch liners will usually stay fitted. This is going to take much more time to safely remove things like arch liners, under trays, various bolts and fittings for a complete preservation treatment on various different vehicles. We've got incredibly thorough deep cleaning to think about, multiple stages of decontamination, additional areas to be detailed, in addition to the usual areas. In fact, the list goes on and on. With this level of detail, we are not just applying one single layer of the protective coatings towards the end, but rather 2 or 3 layers. This will result in extra product costs and a lot more time. All of the previously listed stages have had a decent amount of time go into the thought process of the figures. These have been based on past detailing jobs and the big detail on the recent Focus RS series. This type of detail certainly isn't suited for the faint-hearted. The complete exterior process involving a full wash, bodywork decontamination, a 2-stage wet sand, 4 or 5 stages of machine polishing and ceramic coating from the tyres up, inclusive of all prep work and finishing touches. Again, the list goes on and on for what these involve, and you must remember that these figures are based on being utterly anal retentive. Total time duration of between 114 to 152 hours, quite a big difference between the two due to there being so many variables. The interior and engine bay are once again key areas to get nicely presented and protected. If you would like to see firsthand just how I can spend this much time on these 2 given areas, then be sure to check out the Focus RS Concourse series, as this set of videos will give you a good idea. For a detail of this magnitude and the nature of a concourse level detail, additional layers of various products are applied, which has to be accounted for as an additional product cost. The term more is better usually is the case when it comes to the final protection of all surfaces. This takes the overall estimated time duration between 203 to 277 hours, and quite a respectable cost is associated with a detail of this kind. Granted, not all clients would require 100% of the stages that I've accounted for, but for the complete bee's knees detail of all details, here's the ballpark figure. Please note I don't actually charge £35 per hour, which is what these figures are based on, but I really wouldn't want to make such a quote so easily accessible to preying up and coming detailers. I've made this video to give you a good idea in terms of the rough cost and associated number of man hours with a concourse level of this kind. This type of detail quite simply takes everything above and beyond the typical detail, and many would consider it overkill. However, for me, this is what detailing is all about. In my day-to-day detailing services, things are kept a lot more wallet friendly, but after doing the big concourse detail on my own Focus, it has opened up a few eyes in terms of what can actually be done to get a vehicle to the ultimate show car standard. As always, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, as we are gradually approaching 100,000 subscribers. Be sure to give me a follow on Facebook and Instagram, just search JP Details, and I'll hopefully catch you in the next one.